When it comes to abstract art, there's usually more than meets the eye. You've probably heard or even thought, that looks so easy, even a kid could do it.
It's also not just about throwing paint at your canvas either.
In fact, despite its often erratic and spontaneous appearance, it's usually composed of 6 key elements: color, shape, form, texture, line, and value. While abstract art aims to strip away all of the rules of traditional art, the principles remain.
So in this video, I'll guide you through the process of creating your own abstract art piece. And make sure you stick around, as I'll even cover some of the most common mistakes that artists make that can really hold your piece back.
Okay, so I'm starting with an all-white pair of Air Force Ones, the ultimate blank canvas for anybody working on shoes.
Now when it comes to abstract art, inspiration can come from absolutely anywhere, as we're no longer attempting to represent reality.
Instead, your piece can be about an impression of nature, an emotion you're trying to convey, or even absolutely nothing at all where you're just improvising. If you're ever completely stuck for an idea or in need of a color palette, visit colorhunt.co and that should get the creative juices flowing. It really helps to have a good understanding of the paints and materials you're working with, since that can impact some of the decisions you'll make. For example, when working with leather and Angelus paints, which go on very thin, if I want the colors to really pop, I'll need to start off with something lighter in tone.
Alright, so when you're just starting out and you're really not too sure where to even begin, you might ask yourself, what type of brushes should I use? And do they even matter if it's all meant to be abstract anyway? Well, your brushes can have a huge impact on your work, and these are some of my favorites.
Starting off with this size 8 filbert, one of the most versatile brushes. This is a flat brush with the hairs rounded into an oval at the tip. You can really produce a wide array of brush strokes with this guy. For a much more specialized brush, we have the 1/4" comb filbert. This brush has a variety of hair lengths. This really comes in handy for painting things like grass and fur, or in short brush strokes to give a textured look.
I think I want to give the background here a real painterly feel with a nice brushstroke pattern throughout.
I'll start by slightly darkening the base color we used. It's very likely that the first few drops of paint or strokes you lay down will feel very foreign, especially if you've never done this before. And that's totally normal. Heck, you might not even like how they look at first. But we're going to be building from this, so we need to trust the process.
This is also where one of the first big mistakes when painting can occur, and that's not putting enough expression into your work.
Set the vibe in your space. Listen to your favorite music or watch your favorite movie. Raise your energy levels and don't hold yourself back. You need to remove the fear of making a mistake. Your movements and expression on your canvas will reflect all of this. I think we're off to a great start here. However, now that I've built some momentum, let's switch over to that 1/4" comb filbert and really increase the value of our brushstroke pattern by lightening and darkening the base some more. Be sure to change up your brushstroke direction and pressure that you're applying to avoid one of the next most common mistakes, too much of the same. Creative ways to combat this are switching hands with your brush or completely rotating the canvas.
I have absolutely zero coordination with my left hand, so that one doesn't work for me.
Now here's a look at where things stand so far. We've just gotten started and already hit some of our key elements, line and value.
Next up, let's embrace the randomness of adding paint splatter. From using a toothbrush or even just your fingers, there's a lot of different ways that you can tackle paint splatter.
I'll opt for a nice wide paintbrush in this scenario. Before you begin, practice how fast and vigorously you will whip your brush, how much paint you will put on the tip, and your distance from the subject. The following mistake that can occur in abstract art is getting too attached too early.
you might think that things look good enough and hesitate about adding more.
Again, try changing up the viewing angle or even the lighting and you'll be able to remove some of that attachment. You can also alter the look of your splatter by playing around with the additives too thin and too thick. Speaking of too thick, this is a new Angelus product that I'm really excited about. It's an easy way to transform your Angelus paints into a very similar texture and thickness to that of oil paints. Let me know if you'd like to see us cover it in more detail. After the paint splatter, you can see we're really cooking on this piece, and we've just scratched the surface on incorporating the element of color. Now in almost all of my pieces, I'm very much a fan of incorporating various texture stencils. I also wanted to create something I could use anytime I'm doing a project like this to mix in some quick abstract shapes and designs.
In addition, this starts to create continuity between projects.
So I'll take this sheet and start airbrushing some of the various patterns throughout my canvas. From here, you can decide how much color you still want to incorporate.
Sometimes I like to take a picture of my work, convert it to grayscale, and then see if there are too many similar values.
In this case, it's clear to me that I still need to incorporate some darker tones.
Whenever you hit a roadblock, the best thing you can do is step away from the project completely. Go do absolutely anything else, and when you return with a new fresh set of eyes, you might have a better feel for what's missing.
This is the last mistake that happens to just about everyone. Once I'm satisfied with where things stand, I can remove the tape and start painting some of the blank panels we have left. For those, I'll opt for solid colors to try and balance out the madness we've created. After you start filling in some color, you can take a step back and decide if you need to go back and add more to the abstract panels.
The stencils alone helped me hit every major element of color, line, shape, form, value, and texture.
Then, we've got a few more opportunities to incorporate some more color through the Nike swoosh, air branding, the guts of the shoe, and the stitching on the midsole.
I'd love to feature some of the abstract art pieces that you guys create. So let's make it a challenge. Tag hashtag DCFabstract and I'll highlight some of your work over on Instagram or in an upcoming live stream. Step outside of your comfort zone if this is something you've never done before, and I think you'll have a really good time doing it. Now, if you're still wondering what other tools do sneaker customizers need or prefer to use, check out this video next. Alright guys, everybody get out there and just create.